When searching in the databases, you have the option to do an advanced search, and I do recommend doing that option. With an advanced search, you often see a setup like you do here with EbscoHost, and I'm going to use the EbscoHost platform just to show you how to set up the search in general. There are a few different tweaks depending on which database you're in, and I'll explain those along the way as well. I'm going to use the opioid epidemic as my search terms. So I start typing in opioid epidemic, and EbscoHost sets up, it gives me a few different options that I can select from. When I select, I do have to go back and put quotation marks around each phrase. And additionally, I am capitalizing or. You do not need to for this database. I'm actually going to take out opioid addiction. I don't want that one in my search right now. You don't need to capitalize or in this database, but you do need to capitalize in other databases. So it's good practice. Just get in the habit of doing it now. If you're using two or more words, if you're using a phrase, you do need to put that phrase in quotation marks like I have here with opioid epidemic and opioid crisis. This signals to the database that it needs to recognize the words you have typed as you have typed them, so in the order that you have typed them. If you don't put the quotation marks there, it's the same as putting or between your words in some cases. So opioid and epidemic will now be separated. Not exactly the most helpful. Opioid then, instead of focusing just on the epidemic, it could focus on all different aspects of opioid use and opioids. And epidemic could cover beyond opioid to all different sorts of epidemics, whether they be different diseases, different health afflictions, whatever. On the box below, I want to focus on the United States, so I'm going to do the same thing. You can see they give me some options. I put those in quotation marks. I capitalize my ors. And I'm also going to include United States of America as an option. And again, those quotation marks and ors are there. Now you see on the outside in the box and you have the option from the drop-down box to select or here and not. I recommend you keep, most of the time you'll use it as and, because that and is telling the database to include both lines. That or tells the database doesn't matter which word or phrase from each line is chosen. So it could be opioid epidemic in United States, or it could be opioid epidemic in America, it could be opioid crisis in USA. Doesn't matter the combination, because those words as I've typed them are interchangeable to my research. Opioid epidemic, opioid crisis mean the same thing for me in my research. If you have words that are synonyms or incredibly closely related that they can be interchangeable for you, they go on the same line, they use that or. When you're deciding what focus you take with your research, that's how you decide what goes on these lines. What's your overall subject? How are you narrowing it down? In my case, I'm not looking at a global opioid epidemic, I'm looking specifically at the United States. And I could get even more specific if I want and look at a region or a city. But keep in mind, the more narrow you get, the fewer results you're going to get. So if you get 0 results, we may need to come back here, figure out a way to broaden that back out. At any point, if you struggle with that, please talk to a librarian. That's what we're here for. If you select the not here, so if I were to say put not right here, and I have America up there, but I didn't want to see Canada in my results, I could type that in here. And that tells the database that everything that comes up, Canada should never be in there. Okay? Over here, it doesn't really matter to me, so I'm deleting that from that field for now. Then over here, I have select a field. And you're looking for, in this database, it's subject terms and alt text. In other databases, it's subject and keyword. The subject is what you want the entire article to be about. What everything that pops up, the overall theme for each article. So in my case, I want every article to be about the opioid epidemic. You can have multiple subjects. I would probably want United States to also be a subject, but you could select it as a keyword, or in this case, alt text. If you get no results, come back, and especially if you've selected things as subjects, come back and try them as alt text. It's not that your terms aren't good terms, but it might be that the database is recognizing other terms as subjects. And as we get into the database in other videos, I will show you how to find those other subjects. As always, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to contact a librarian. Stop by anytime we're open, or you can contact me directly at lisa.anderson@muskegoncc.edu.